And welcome to another edition of Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. Special edition tonight. Thank everybody for checking us out on a Wednesday night. Man, when I got this news, I had to hit my guy and let him know what it is. It's, definitely happy for him. When I say me and this guy right here has some history, pretty much the majority of his stops along the way, I've followed him and been a huge supporter, a big fan of him. And I'm so happy he got this job. One of the good guys in the business, people have to understand, you always have to have a good network around you. And I consider this one, dear to me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the new coach, the head coach of Coppin State University, Mr. Daryl Mosley. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. Excited for this opportunity.
It's time yes, to indeed.
Get to work.
Congratulations, man. This is big time. Since the edit dropped, since the announcement dropped, I said, I waited a little bit because I know that phone was about to be on fire. I know you got to get a new phone from everybody hitting you up saying congratulations, people sending you players, all that good stuff. So
everybody want a job. I'm like, man, I don't even know half the people, but hey, listen, keep on reaching out.
Definitely. Hey, man, like I said, we have this special edition tonight to talk about Coppin State University. For people that don't know about Coppin State is a D1 school in the MEAC conference, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. You're very familiar with it because, your roots are not far from there as well. Tell us a little bit about Coppin State.
Well, I'm definitely familiar with it because, one, I'm a MEAC guy myself. I played in the MEAC. I played at Delaware State. I played against, several teams in the MEAC when I was a Division II head coach. And like you said, it brings me back closer to home from being at Arizona, of course. But Coppin State is a hidden gem. I feel like Coppin State probably have one of the best arenas in the league, but it sits right there in Baltimore. Not too far from D.C., not too far from Delaware, Philadelphia area. So I'm very close to the airport. So it's definitely going to help with recruiting, getting players in and out. But like I said, it's a gold mine, and I'm here ready to try to get this thing rolling. I know Coach Jermaine Woods did a phenomenal job there. And so he's moved on to an opportunity to be closer to home with his family. And so I'm blessed with the opportunity and ready to get it rolling.
Absolutely, man. It's you coming in and the times we live in with the portal and everything else, it kind of helps and it kind of hurts you to an extent because, we look at this now. If you have anybody good and they make all MEAC, the big boys is coming after them now. Exactly. But in the same sense, it opens up a little more for you on the JUCO route, though. So that's the positive with it, though. Is that going to – what's your thinking? What's your philosophy now with this new age that we're in?
Well, I mean, it's been different at different stops. Of course, we want immediate impact. But like you said, because of a lot of really good high school kids being passed up due to certain teams needing one or two impact players out of the portal, they might pass up on a lot of really good high school kids. In a situation like me where it's been a coaching change, a lot of the players were already in the portal before I even arrived. And so I'm starting from scratch. And so I got to really vet, high school kids, JUCO kids, and portal. And if it's a really good high school kid or a JUCO kid that can play, I need them on my team. I'm not overlooking anything. I just want talent. I want, people that's going to work extremely hard, that can play both sides of the ball, and we're going to develop. And so if you're not where we need you to be right now, you will be by the time the season starts because we're going to be big in development.
And, that's the sign of a coach there because everybody wants everything ready-made, and sometimes it takes that development to get you to where you're trying to go. And when you develop a kid, that trust goes up even more because you believed in them when a lot of people wouldn't have believed in them. Now, unfortunately, as we like to use the term, hopefully they don't get Hollywood on you once they get all conference and you're developing into that all conference player. But the point is you build even a stronger bond when you do that. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I had to crack a joke with a high school kid today. Pretty good, player. I watched a ton of film on her. I'm like, this kid can play at this level. And she has a couple of Division Is that she wasn't really excited for, but she had a lot of JUCOs and even considering prep. And I threw an offer at her. I was like, man, this kid can play. She's athletic. She runs the floor. And then, she texts, was like, Coach, do you mind me posting the offer? I said, are you going to use my offer to get more status on me? Why you just can't come on a visit and let's get this thing done and over with? And we post that. And so she found it funny, but that just happens, man. Sometimes you put offers out there for kids and they use it as, clickbait and their status and stock go up. And I'm just like, man, I'm trying to keep this on the low and just get her committed. But everybody wants to blast it on social media now. It's just the way of the world. But sometimes it helps you, though, when you're the first one or kind of really see value in kids. And they say, all right, now that coach was there for me. He believed in me when nobody else did. I just want some of these other schools to see that y'all didn't, take a chance on me. And so use it as fuel, though. I let them know to use it as fuel and come in with a chip on your shoulder. And so sometimes that helps, but sometimes you end up losing the kid now because they're like, this coach knows what he's doing. If he offered her, we should be offering her. So
yeah,
it can go either way, honestly, sometimes.
I like to call that, we call that the pretty girl in the room because you might have ran up on her first, but now now that you ran up on her, now everybody else, I want to holler at her. I want to holler at her.
Now who got the biggest bag?
Unfortunately,
who got the most expensive date?
Exactly, man. I look at this and seeing you take this job right here. I'm so happy for you, but it puts you in a predicament. And when I say it puts you in a predicament, like you said, you need kids right now for the 2025 season. But the way I know you is because we see each other crossing paths on the circuit all spring and summer. But this is going to take away from that because you got to get it moving. Absolutely. To place your team. How are you going to handle that? And you still, you got staff you're bringing in, all of that good stuff. You're getting administration stuff together. How are you going to handle that this year, man?
Man, I got a priority is to build a team. Like you said, this is still fresh for me. Literally just got on campus yesterday, still getting, paperwork and just getting acclimated with everybody in the department, meeting. I just met the FAR today. I just, met other people literally in the hallway, next to my office. So I still got to put a staff together as well. And so it's kind of like, the circuit might have to wait, or I might just be able to show a face for a day and then get back to campus. But right now we got to have visits lined up. We're booking flights. We're just kind of getting interest and wanting to come on and visit. And so right now I can't think about next year's class or future class. I got to focus on next season. And so that's priority right now. And kind of depending on these next 2 weeks, if we get some pretty good commitments, then I'll feel a little bit more comfortable going out. But right now, we gotta build our foundation right now.
Absolutely. I want people to understand. So the people that are listening, what type of style do you play, and what's going to be the expectation at Coppin State for potential kids that are interested in coming there?
Well, you got to be able to defend. I'm a defensive-minded coach, and so I'm always going to approach every game defensively, matchups. How we're going to take away their key players. But we're definitely going to press. We're going to try to speed teams up. We're going to switch it up defensively and keep our opponent on their toes. But offensively, I like to play up tempo. I want to play fast. I want to get out the net or, off the rim, and we're pushing it fast. We want to get up and get to the basket, kick ahead, for easy looks, penetrate and kick off the dribble. But just in the half court, open the floor up, 4 out, 1 in, a lot of dribble drive, a lot of open and spread sets. And just kind of read and react, kind of who has the mismatch. Let's get the ball in their hands. If we got a post player that can eat on the inside, let's get the ball inside. And if they double, let's get it back out and be able to knock it down or beat people off the dribble. But I don't want to play a handcuffed offense. I want my kids to be able to, like I said, read and react, play loose, and work on the things we work in skill development. And that's beating people off the dribble, getting to your spot, pulling up. But being able to knock down an open shot consistently.
Man, you just said something, and I want people to hear that. You're a big advocate on skill development, man. Can you talk some more about that?
Yeah, that's important, and it's really skill development based off your system. When I get with my staff, we're watching film on the sets we're going to run or the type of offense, and so you don't want to waste a lot of time in that 45 minutes you have outside of class, and then skill development is also built in within my practice schedules, and so we might do 15, 20 minutes within practice. I don't want a bunch of dribbling around trash cans and between trash cans. No, they got to be able to come off a quick pin down. They got to be able to come off staggers. They got to be able to come off ball screens. They got to be able to quick move, get to your spot, pull up, because this is how our offense is going to look. So you don't need to waste a lot of time doing things that's not going to help them build and progress within our offense. And so footwork, skill work, being able to catch and shoot and just basically keeping your eyes up and be able to see the floor, when to make the right read, playing off of 2 feet, to avoid charges, avoid travels. We play off of 2. And so that's going to be a lot of emphasis in that preseason. So when they hear the terminology, they see, oh, this drill is because, I see that play we ran.
How it translates.
It translates to the offense. So that's kind of how we break it down.
Let me ask you this, and I know this is early as well. That preseason schedule, are you looking for a tough preseason schedule, or are you looking to ease into it your first year?
No, we got a tough schedule already. I already kind of seen it and got to make some decisions on some dates and some other games, and I'm still getting calls now. But I just think at our level, you got to play them. You got to raise money for the university, and then with the NIL landscape of things, got to be able to kind of get an overage that can help pour back into your program. And so I've always been, a fan of that, because it helps, do things with your program that is just not within your budget. And even when I was at Lincoln, I was going out playing, the high Power 5, went up and played Syracuse, played Maryland, GW, St. Joe's, just to raise money for the team. And, even if it helps with just equipment, apparel, gear, I'm all for it. And so, we're going to have a tough schedule. I can't even really put all the names out there yet, because contracts haven't been signed, but you're going to be surprised when you see some of the teams we play. And, I'm looking for players that's not afraid to go up against some really tough competition. May even be some Final Four teams in there, just a little hint, but it's about to be the gauntlet, and you got to get ready for it. So.
Okay. And again, still premature and early. What's going to be a typical day at Coppin State? Are you going to practice early? Are you going to practice late? Or is that going to be dependent on schedules?
Yeah.
What's going to be your expectation?
It's always privy around the student athlete's schedule, so student first. As a coach, you kind of got a mindset and a block that you want to keep. And, it always changes. You might have 1 or 2 that, in the perfect world, we want to go to 12 to 3 slot, but you might have a medical major or a communications major that might have a class from 5:30 to 7. And so you got to be flexible to either be able to get them in early, or then you got a conflict that's maybe 1 to 4 on a Tuesday, Thursday. We might can't go 12 to 3 on that Tuesday, Thursday. We might have to go in the evening. So it's all about getting a spreadsheet of everybody's schedule broken down. And but a typical is 12 to 3, we would like to go. That way it gives them the rest of the day to, one, get extra shots up if they want. They can go to, class afterwards. They can enjoy their collegiate experience. And then as coaches, it gives us time to get out on the road and recruit and travel if we have to, and be able to get back for practice the next day.
Okay. Tell us about Coppin State for the people that don't know. I know you're still new there, so you may not have everything, but just give it to us in the gist of Coppin State University.
HBCU, urban institution, their investment is the well-being of students. And so they're always there to enhance students and student athletes to be their best and prepare them for life after college. That's kind of the mission and the vision of the university. But like I said, right in Baltimore, not too far from the harbor, and great location, great campus. A lot of renovations going on campus right now that I'm excited for. There's actually some grand opening eateries that's coming up on the 24th that I'm happy to be there to be able to see that, which is going to help with recruiting. That's going to be able to help with just more places to eat around campus. And so I'm still, like you said, learning a lot. I actually got a tour tomorrow, so I'll be able to give you a little bit more in depth once I go on this grand tour tomorrow and check out all the facilities. But I did walk around a little bit today, and just continuing to learn the history and rich tradition of Coppin State right now.
You said something, just getting off real quick. I forgot you about a Harvard, man. So, when I come, hey, it's seafood, buddy. You know what it is.
Absolutely.
Crab cakes and seafood. You already know.
Absolutely.
Man,
absolutely.
Let me ask you this, man. Like you talked about, your offense. You talk about what you expect. You as a person, you coming into this job, I know you're a competitive individual. I know you want to win. What's going to be your expectation in year one and going forward?
It's bringing the right people in, right character, right work ethic, and just not, trading my values for anything. Yes, I want to win, but I want to win the right way. I want to do it the right way. I'm getting a lot of phone calls from players, and I got a staff that's working, and they're sending me players or sending me a lot of film to watch. And I'm very strategical on how I, piece things together. When I get on the phone and talk to these individuals, and I'm like, why are you on your third school? And I'm doing my background checks, and I'm calling previous schools, and it's like, this individual had a problem with a teammate or a coach, and it's just like, in year one, it's just some things I'm not willing to sign up for, and if I was successful and I'm winning and I'm in the Final Four and I got a little buffer room to gamble a little bit, so be it. But I'm all about giving second chances. I've done it, in my career, even when I was a head coach at Lincoln. I believe in second chances. And so I'm a vet, the young person out, and kind of hear their why and how they've grown in situations if it is a second chance. But even when it comes down to film, it might be an individual coming from Power 5, and I'm just watching their film, and if it's just way too many turnovers or just shot selection, and I'm just like, I don't get caught up in the name and where they're from. And I'm watching some Division II film that I'm like, man, I like this kid. She plays hard. She gets to the rack. I love her skill set. I love her passion. So I would take a Division II kid over a Power 5 film right now if I feel like that fits better in my system, not just chasing a name or a school that they're coming from that I don't feel is going to help me win. So that's kind of my approach and how I go about things.
Being where you're at, I mean, you kind of got a nice little nice bump because you're right there in the heart of CIAA country.
Yep.
You're right there close to the PSAC country, since we're talking D2.
Yep.
You're right there by Conference of Carolinas, which is another good one. You're close to SAA, and you're still close to the NE10. You're still close to the PSAC. So you got some D2s to recruit from. And
Absolutely.
Don't nobody cut my head off just because I named the ones that's close to them, because I know the ones in the Midwest, the MIA, and the rest of them. Like, what about us? No, I'm just saying he have some that are within really close driving distance is what
Absolutely.
I'm saying. So you got some quality D2s. And you said something that people don't understand. Like, some of these D2 kids is moving up and they're hungry.
Yeah.
And they're hungry. And the fact that you got, don't kill me again, you got one of the top JUCO D2s that's basically down the street from you in CCBC Essex. That's another quality program. Yeah, so I mean, and that whole conference is good. Harcum and the whole, you got some really good, and you're in the DMV. That's some of the best girls basketball in the country, hands down. So you got some good prospects that are a stone throw away from you, basically.
Have you ever had Mike on your show?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
yes,
that's my guy right there.
Yeah. I've had him on the show, and I had him on the year they won the national championship. So yeah, so absolutely. I try and get to know them all, man. So and he's doing it the right way. So I made it a point to have him on the show. But man, let's go a little further. And I like to ask this because you're a defensive guy, and I harp on these kids and I harp on these parents as well. Everybody has it in their mind that their kid has to be out, whether you watching a JUCO game, whether you watching a circuit game or a prep game, whatever the case may be. And it was like, if I don't score 15, 20, or 30, coach ain't going to notice me.
Mm.
We'll start there. Can you tell them that is not the only reason you're out? I mean, yes, you want a bucket getter. Who doesn't?
Yeah, sure.
But you just said it yourself. You're a defensive-minded kid, and it's going to lean into my next question. When you're going out there, what are the other intangibles that stick out for you when you're looking at prospects?
Well, I mean, everybody wants players that can score the ball. You know, you got to be able to score the ball, put the ball in the hole to win the games. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you don't want a talented scorer that, one, is not going to make the right play. That's going to be over aggressive and not passing the ball to their teammates, where their teammates is not going to want to play for them. And how you control that is you got to dictate the offense sometimes and draw the play up or draw a read for that score to let them know, yeah, I believe in you. I'm confident in you. So I'm running this play. But you also got to go to other people to keep them involved in the offense and keep the ball moving as well. But, you know, you don't want that same person that, like you said, chasing 30, and then your man is coming down on you, giving you 35. It's kind of like, you know, you're not helping me win the game right now. Yeah, you're scoring the ball, but then your man is giving you 35. And so I like kids that can play both sides of the ball. But like you said, those intangible things, taking charges, diving on loose balls, bringing energy. You just got to have energy for your teammates when you're coming out the game. Who's standing up, giving their teammate a high five, and who's coming out the game, shaking the coach's hands and their players' hands, and they're right back on the bench, locked in, ready to go in. Who's on the edge of their seat? Who's mouthing off with the refs and talking back to their coaches? Like, I look for all that type of stuff. Because if you're doing it to your coach now, or you're looking up in the fan in the crowd talking to your parents the whole game, you're going to do that at the next level. And so those are the things I look for. But, you know, who's winning? Who's causing their team to win, and who's making other people around them better. And so those are a few things that I look at.
And this leads into the question, and that's why I asked that first. How important is it for somebody to come into Coppin State and know the defensive shell drill?
Oh, that's the base of everything. You gotta know shell, you know, and because everything is more advanced now. You know, we got shell, and that's just the foundation. But you know, as basketball evolved, is certain ways to get into shell now, and off the baseline, off the sideline, and coming together. And so it's keeping everybody engaged and keeping them energized, and also keeping them on their toes on just giving them different looks. You know, you got some 5-on-4 stuff you can do now just to scramble out of it. But, you know, you got to know the concept of when the ball you're on that help line. There's not no standing and watching. And you gotta make it tough for them on offense so they can see that if we can stop this with 4 people in a game, of course we're going to have 5, but it's not always going to be a perfect scenario. It might be a 5-on-4. It might be a 5-on-3. But are you going to give up on the play? And so just giving them different tasks and practice to keep their mind and their bodies moving, to say that, hey, this can be a game situational opportunity.
Let me ask this from a Coppin State perspective, and this is for parents that, you know, always like to wonder. I'm sure you'll have your study hall like everybody else, but you'll have your academic advisors and all that good stuff. You know, what type of majors? I know it's early. What does Coppin stand out for from a major perspective?
Psychology, business, sports management, all types of chemistry and sciences. And like I said, I'm still kind of learning. It's been like, as I'm recruiting and, you know, I'm asking those questions of, you know, what's your major? And then they tell me, and I'm like, so I'm looking it up as it goes. And so like, that's something I'm trying to continue to critique and perfect. All the majors that we do have to offer, but you're starting to hear some real unique ones nowadays. Yeah. I'm like, you're studying what? And I'm just like, let's make sure we got that. And so, I love, recruits that are student driven, though. They're academic savvy. And, they're calling and academics is important to me, coach. And so I want to be able to be involved with this and make sure all my credits transfer in. And so those are the type of players I like, because that means they're going to come in and handle business. They're focused on their academics, and I don't got to worry about the team GPA dropping, because I'm a competitor. I want to win in everything. And that's the team award, the athletic department award. I want to have the highest GPA in the department. So that's just my competitive side.
So let me ask this as well. Will you have a GA also?
Yeah, it's a built-in GA position that it doesn't come from, my actual budget, but it's through the athletic department. Yep.
Okay. Now, with you having the GA, would you give a player that's graduating, if they want to move forward and possibly get into coaching, would you give them that opportunity?
Absolutely. They're the ones that would get first dibs, because one, we're having that conversation up front. This is something I want to do. I want to get into coaching. They see firsthand, you played under my system. You see how I was as a coach. So you know me as a coach and an individual already. And so now transitioning you to the next seat over is kind of like, this is now what I need you to learn, do. But you also been around the program. You see how we travel. You see, the study hall set up. You see what the practice setup is. You see, the system already. So if it's even you helping up and coming or newcomer with the plays. And so it's always easier to kind of bring somebody in within your circle already to help you teach. And they also can sell who you are as a coach and as a person already.
Yeah, I like that. And, we know what the MEAC is. We know how competitive it can be, from top to bottom. It's going to be competitive. On any given night, you could be knocked off, and you understand what it takes. How are you going to keep this team, especially, let's call it what it is. You're going to have a lot of newcomers. How are you going to keep them motivated to understand that there's no days off in the MEAC?
It's all about the players we're recruiting. That's you're asking them about their mindset. We're asking them about their goals. I'm running to recruit winners right now. I want to recruit players that have a chip on their shoulder, that's coming from situations where they felt like they should have been playing more and been able to make a bigger impact. And so the goal is winning. That's all the conversations we're having, is winning and, high character and being a great teammate. And so that's why I'm excited just to put a good core group together and kind of get them going this summer and start building that chemistry and start bonding as a team, but also letting them know what the expectation and the mentality is each and every day. And so I'm vetting them on these phone calls. Like, if you lollygag and if you ain't about hard work and commitment, then this is not going to be the place for you.
Okay. Hey, man, I know you got a lot of stuff going on. This is your quick sell to the people that are watching. Why Coppin?
Why Coppin is because we're going to win. I'm a player's coach, but we're going to be big on development, but we're going to have fun, and we're going to make sure you guys enjoy your collegiate experience. If you want to get better, you want to play a great style of play with a strong schedule and travel the country and get a great education, Coppin State is your place to be.
I like it, man. I like it. Now, between September, October, when y'all get to practicing, I'm already have my order ready. I'm already know where we're going. You already know what it is.
Come on up.
You already know. And, when your schedule drops, in all seriousness, I definitely want to get up there to support, man. I'm so happy for you, man. You deserve it, man.
I appreciate you as always, man. Just great platform. I remember we did this many, many years back. And so every time we do it, I'm at a different location. So
yeah, we've done it a couple times.
Absolutely.
Did we do it? We did it at Lincoln. We did it at Arizona State.
And now here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, but like I tell anybody, when you on this show, once you're on the show, you family, man. And
absolutely.
Not only you family, man, we see, and the thing I love about you, like, you get out there and work. And that's how we see each other. We bump heads all the time. Like, so sometimes I don't even know you're at certain places, but I walk in, I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Because we out there grinding, trying to see what it is. And that was always my respect for you, because I know if there's some players, you're gonna be out there looking at them. You know what I mean?
Got to be.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on this special edition tonight, man. I was just so happy. Like I said, once I saw it, I hit your phone. I was like, you already know. You already know. And, I definitely want to put it out there to keep, that momentum going, to keep Coppin's name out there for you. I'll use my platform however I can to help, man. And best of luck to you, brother. Okay.
I appreciate you, my guy. Salute.
Definitely. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Talk to you.
All right. Man, that's my guy right there. And I'm so happy for him. But people understand this. Don't just think you're going to the MEAC and you're going to go there. Oh, I'm going to go there and kill and then move up. You'll be sadly mistaken. There's some really good players in the MEAC and SWAC. Those are good leagues as well. So don't get it twisted that you think you're going to go to these places. And number two, he's not going to allow that anyways. Like, he's a vet coach with high major experience, with D2 experience. So he's seen it all. So it's not somewhere where you can just think you're going to run game and think you're going to just throw up shots. Not only will we sit you down, that might be your last year as well. Not to scare anybody, but no, he's just the quality coach as any other coach in the country. Happy for him and understand he's going to have Coppin moving in the right direction. That's going to do it for tonight on this special edition. I appreciate everybody coming on this Wednesday night. We'll be back on Sunday night no, we won't be back on Sunday night because I will be in Pittsburgh at the Western PA Bruins tip-off, and it's Easter as well. So I won't have a show on Easter. We'll push it to Monday night instead of Sunday night. So thank you guys for checking in as usual. I'm your host, David Jones. Good night.